what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
U.S. Health Advisors want you to know your health coverage does not have to be complicated. If you aren't happy with your insurance plan, there are unlimited and comprehensive medical plan options available to you right now. U.S. Health Advisors offers solutions which can't be found anywhere else. They can even offer you the ability to purchase more coverage if and when you need it. U.S. Health Advisors offers fair rates and no surprises. Sounds nice, doesn't it? If you'd like to know more, contact U.S. Health Advisors at 828-554-3032 or by email at daniel.bryant@ushadvisors.com.
Welcome to the Street Circle Drive podcast here on The Mesh. I am your co-host here, Andrew Moose. With me as always, my friend, Michael McNally.
Your dear friend.
Dear friend, the dearest of friends.
Your best friend?
You're the dearest of friends.
One of them.
You're one of my best friends. You're one of my best friends. That's a shout out to Mary Margaret. Yeah, bless her heart. She used to give me all kinds of shtick about all my best friends. I'm
sure she still does give you a hard time.
She does.
It is funny. I did have somebody ask my wife, like, what happened to Mary Margaret? It's like, we totally ghosted her. Yeah, she didn't want to make a deal out of it.
She did not.
But she moved.
She did.
And that was in June. And then you and I were just like, we just talk about it.
Well, now it's a new year, new us. We can talk about this. We 80s sitcom'd Mary Margaret. We just didn't even say anything.
Awesome.
Just didn't say anything. We didn't just bring somebody else in and call her Mary Margaret, though. We could have done that.
That would have been funny.
That would full on 80s
Especially
sitcom.
with a deep voice. I would have laughed. That would have been good.
That's right.
But yeah, we totally just ghosted her and didn't no explanation or anything.
I know.
So I finally had somebody inquire as to what we did.
We should zoom her in.
We should.
So if this is your first time listening to the Street Circle Drive podcast, it is a Hickory-centric podcast for the people who love Hickory. And we'd like to thank, first of all, our sponsor, U.S. Health Advisors, for being a partner in our podcast, and Dan Bryant in particular. If you are interested in sponsoring The Mesh or shows on The Mesh, please contact themesh.tv/advertise, or you can send an email to info@themesh.tv. It's a great opportunity to reach a super targeted audience, really low cost with some introductory rates that we're putting on right now. So if you're interested in sponsorship on The Mesh, let us know. We'll be happy to talk to you about it.
If you want to sponsor our lunches, I would greatly appreciate it.
That's a great idea. See, that's what we need to talk about. So if you're a restaurant in the Hickory area and you want some positive shine on your establishment, holler at us.
Yeah.
We'll come. We don't even want free food.
I'll get a couple of entrees and we'll call it a day.
The double entendre.
The huge.
That's right. Well, moving right along into our guest segment.
The important part.
The most important part of our podcast. We are lucky to have Hickory City Council. Okay, first of all, is it, we had this conversation before. Mm-hmm. Is it alderman, alderwoman, councilwoman? Miss Jill Patton, please let us know. Councilwoman. Please welcome to Councilwoman Jill Patton to the podcast. We appreciate it very much.
I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
So it's Councilwoman.
It can also be alderwoman.
It can
be
hear
either one.
everywhere.
It doesn't matter to me.
You can't tell if it's just intertwined. Some cities prefer one or the other.
They do, but it's interesting when I am called alderman.
Yeah.
And you have to raise your hand and say, excuse me.
Right.
I am alderwoman.
I'm wondering if it's going to revert to the alder person, council person. That would also fit. I'm assuming, but
yeah,
I digress.
Can't wait.
That's right. Well, Jill, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it very much. We were talking over lunch. Jill was nice enough to join McNally and I for lunch, and this is your 14th year on the council.
Yes, it is. I've enjoyed all 14 years.
Right.
You're
in your fourth term. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, so what inspired you to run for city council 14 years ago?
It was a dispute over a land issue, the way the process worked. It wasn't specifically about a business coming. It was the process with which the city allowed it to come. So I got fired up, met a girlfriend at lunch, and she said, one of us has to do something. And I said, we both pointed fingers, but I ended up.
Did you draw the short straw?
So it just worked out, and there were enough people that were concerned about the issue and the way it was presented, and that got me involved. And I've always been involved in Hickory. I grew up here. I love this community, and I just want to see the best of everything for the community, and felt like I could add something to City Council.
So that was your first foray into politics, or were you holding other roles or anything before?
No politics. I never even paid attention hardly to them before that. But I was involved on like the Y Board, Girl Scouts, Rotary, and Chamber, and things like that. And so this was just, I felt like a good next step for me. Yeah. And it's been very good. It's been a great learning experience. And then bring all that those connections that I do have with the community to speak for the people of Hickory, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, after 14 years, you really know and understand and have seen in many instances all the different things that encompass being an elected official for a city. How long did it take you to kind of feel like you had your bearings as far as that position? Because I know that that's something that always comes up with people. And we were talking a little bit about elected officials and people that roll off terms and who come. I always wonder about pipeline. But how long did it take you to kind of get your feet wet and kind of feel like you were in charge?
I'll let you know when.
Okay, great.
No, it took a bit of time to realize that they have their own rules, regulations. I remember when I first was elected, John Crone gave me a book, just Robert's Rules of Order, just to understand those processes that we go through and how we do things on council, how motions are made, just all those issues involved. And it's a whole lot of fun to learn, and then to realize what all goes on in the background for an issue to come to council. It might appear to some of the public that, oh, wow, they just approved something just like that. There are months and months, sometimes years of work being done prior to things coming to council, and it's sausage making, but it is exciting when we do come out and are able to announce really exciting things happening in the city.
Right, and we saw this week that there was some new developments with the bond and all that good stuff. Would you like to kind of elucidate for our listeners?
Yes, I think this is one of the most. It's every single one of our projects now is either under contract or being built, and the latest one was Riverwalk that we approved. On Tuesday night, approved that so that they are actually going to start clearing today.
Wow!
Out at the park, and it's going to be, I think, in the end, it was the best thing that we've done. Instead of doing retaining walls and chewing into the environment and stuff, we're going to actually, as Kevin Greer calls it, we're building a bridge through the forest.
Right.
And so that's going to go on top. It's going to be better for the environment. It's going to be quicker to actually implement, and it's half as much as what we were quoted. So I really respect our city staff that they worked really hard to make sure that they kept the best process done so that we are doing what the citizens told us, on time and on budget.
Right. And that's was super important in all aspects of city planning, and what's super important to citizens is the bottom line and what comes out of their pocketbook, and the citizens of Hickory should be standing up and applauding this, because if we went along with that original bid, that was $13 million some odd dollars or so, $8 million over what we budget. Thought, right? What we thought. So as a taxpayer of the city of Hickory, I really appreciate you guys doing that.
Well, it was really staff working to come up with alternatives when that number came out, and they did a fantastic job. And it is exciting that we've been able to leverage what the citizens voted for, $40 million bond. We have our Trivium, and we've got now 3 announced businesses in there, and we've done our gateways. We're working City Walk, downtown's been done, Union Square, and now Riverwalk, and we've been able to, out of our original, quote, $40 million bond, we're well over $100 million, and it is exciting.
Right, yeah.
Private investments has followed what we planned, and we knew this was going to happen when we went visiting other cities that had faced similar downturns, and we looked and see what did they do, how did they do it, and picked, I think, the best ideas from each one of them and put it to the citizens. And I really give our citizens a lot of thanks for seeing the vision of what can happen. And it's starting to happen.
Right. And, on the private business side, we see these projects that are happening and pretty rapidly, if you want to get quite honest. And you also see the private investment that's going along these projects. The City Walk, there's people buying up properties. There's people investing. There's people building things and basically upfitting a lot of places along the City Walk and et cetera. So it's awesome to see.
Absolutely. So, and that's the way good government dollars should work. They spur other investment. They aren't the end-all, be-all of all investment going on in a community. So it is exciting to see, and even then with the speed with how the private investment is working, with them clearing out the announcement, and within a month they're clearing out the parking lot, and it won't be too long, and we'll see that mixed use, the apartment complex going up
That
across
was exciting
the city.
that we approved it, and I think they were out there digging the next day.
Very
That was
quick.
exciting. And we closed the street just this past week to allow for that construction.
Okay, is that what it's called? Okay.
That's why the street's
I don't
closed.
know, on infrastructure or something I saw that was closed.
They've got to have that street closed to do some more of their pilings and stuff to get it started.
Right, we're talking about the One North Apartments here.
Apartments, right.
Thank you.
That's exciting. That's a game changer for downtown, for us to have living downtown, mixed use underneath. There's going to just more and more businesses to support those people that will be living there. Dry cleaning, got to have dry cleaning.
Grocery store, right? Grocery store, right?
Is that what we're going to do?
Co-op, right? I told you I wasn't going to talk about it for the fourth time this year, but okay, we'll bring it up.
But that's a good idea.
There's opportunities.
There are so many opportunities, and there's going to be a small mini hotel downtown. So there are a lot of people that are entrepreneurs are coming and saying, I've got an idea, I want to invest. The folks downtown that have their businesses and restaurants, they are booming.
Right.
Downtown saw, I think, our biggest parade ever, and the place was just flooded with people. And I have yet to have anyone say the downtown doesn't look fantastic.
It does look great. And even during that parade, I went home and mentioned how well it was, just especially Union Square, but it was lit up and just looked fresh and new and open, even though it didn't change that much, I guess, in the openness and overall structure of what's available out there. It was done well. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It looks great.
Right.
So
it's very open, and I know someone mentioned, it was on Howell Row, I heard him talking about the parade, and he said, people complain about parking, but tell me, where did all these 5,000 people that came for the parade park? There's not a parking issue, and it's a good thing to have people say there's a parking problem. Because when you go to an exciting, vibrant city, you expect to walk and you expect to pay for parking.
Right.
We don't have paid parking, but I had to circle the other day twice to get a parking place, but it was worth it. Ended up meeting friends at the coffee shop. And it's wonderful.
And it's actually a good thing for our tenants because it makes you go by places and possibly pop in and shop at other. We just have a habit. It's Americans, not just as Hickory nuts, of we want to see the whites of the eyes of the people we're going to see, or else there's no parking.
We're going to drive the front door. Right?
Now we are going to actually have the opportunity to go into a lot of these new establishments, support our entrepreneurs. And like you said, I think with all of this going on, those were, in my opinion, pretty quick announcements. And they knew all of this was coming, but the announcements came after truly the contracts were agreed upon for the City Walk. And then the snowball effect started. And I think, it's easier to come and be a part of a snowball after it's already rolling. So yes. I think more and more will come. Once, sometimes it's just hard to visualize, but now you can walk downtown and see, and then you can see how you could be a part of that. We'll see more. And
people are visualizing it. They're more and more wanting to invest, and as you said, buying up property all along City Walk, and the ideas of tying that into Old Lenore Road, going out towards the airport. So there's some really exciting things.
People are buying in. That's the most exciting part, because for a long time, obviously, just like with anything else, the naysayers are always the loudest. And now I mean, granted, they're still loud. Don't get me wrong, but but people are starting to see that that we've got to figure it out, and businesses and private investments, they're starting to see that these public investments that we're making are going to do nothing but help the private sector as well. So we're super excited to see what happens and to get our feet wet and be able to walk around the lake and walk to the Crawdad Stadium.
I'm really intrigued to see, especially with, it's almost like what we do with our restaurant reviews. We try to go to places that are Hickory owned or very small with any franchise. I mean, you wouldn't know about it unless you were in the region or the area. And I think we'll see more of that. And not to splash water on, but you have noticed that AMF Bowling closed, Atlanta Bread's closing. So you see some of these large commercial, and you read about even whether it's here or not, but your Pier 1, some of your larger national commercial are really kind of retreating, whether that's because of internet sales, diminished sales. I mean, there's a myriad of reasons. But when that happens, of course, people want to point and say, oh, look, this is bad for us. And anytime jobs are transferred or moved, it's a shakeup. But the opportunity, that doesn't mean the opportunity is not here in Hickory. It just means that national scale has changed. I think that creates actually more opportunity for that local investment for people that are more in the regional aspect to come and invest in Hickory and whatnot. And hopefully, the folks at the city are hearing more of that kind of buzz coming through their halls.
We are, and
Good.
It's exciting because I think the opportunity is there for those to invest, and they're going to be the ones that will invest back in our community, will actually live here in our community, have their children at the schools, visit all the other businesses.
Sponsor our sporting teams.
It all works together, and it does seem as though all these loose ends that we were having are coming together to be woven into this wonderful cloth of Hickory that there's just so much going on now, and it's exciting I think the citizens are seeing. They kept saying, oh, when's it going to happen? It's never going to happen. And all of a sudden, the dominoes have fallen, and everything's under contract and being worked on, and they're starting to see the benefits of their investment and their vision in seeing Hickory.
Now, of course, I can tell just by talking to you, you're excited about all of it, so we understand that. Out of all the things specifically that have been either tied to or related to the overall bond project, what are you most excited to see on its way to completion or once it's completed? Got to pick one. I'm not telling you to pick your favorite kid or anything like that.
That would be easy. I only have one kid. That's easy.
We'll go ahead and let's sit on that.
That would be so easy. I think the one that's most exciting to me is Trivium, because that's bringing the educational piece, working with CVCC and the workforce solutions out there. It's showing when we put our money and everyone's working together, bringing in industry, there's going to be housing going up there, there's road expansion, jobs that are just the one is 150 employees, the latest, and it is exciting to see that type of industry coming into our business park, which is what we plan for.
Right. And also with them coming in there, there's 150 jobs that are high paying, very
yes.
Very in demand jobs. So that's super exciting that that companies would consider our area, because they would consider our area if we didn't have the workforce to support it. So
and the training of the workforce, having the workforce solutions there, and being able to bring people in, train them specifically for the jobs, and those industries are going to be working with the workforce solutions to say, I have a need for a specific type job. This is what I need you to train, and they can do that, and they do it, and they're doing a fantastic job.
And it's a gorgeous spot the way they did, even just specifically the business park. I mean, it's very, it's nice to drive by it, and it's been hard. A lot of times we have so much industry here, but we don't have that really eye-popping standalone park that you drive by. We've got here, there, hodgepodge. Some of them you have to know where you are, know where to go, and then there's a little cluster. But this one being so accessible, so visible, it'll be so interesting to see what we know of things that are going to pop up around it now.
And there will be more
There
things.
will be a lot more.
And there will be a lot more. And there'll be other places in the business park that will come.
Sure.
And so
Yeah, we
there's
just
a lot of things in
talked
the
about
works.
3. I mean, that
There's
park
more.
will be able to hold probably 8 comfortably, even depending on the size of the buildings.
And some of them already have, set aside areas for expansion.
For growth.
So for growth. And so they see it.
If you plan on that ahead of time, that's a good sign.
And that has been planned ahead of time. And that's with the apartments coming, with the school there. It's very exciting out there. But I like all of our projects. They're all.
I won't tell the
they're
other
all
ones that you
exciting.
listed
I'm
Tribune
sorry.
first.
I do love the downtown. Love the decorations at Christmas.
But they
That
all
was
dovetail,
exciting.
which is the whole process and purpose of it. We even talked to people about when ITM came. One of the major comments was not only the bond project, but the ability to be outside, to whether that's mountain biking, I think was brought. It was all of these things, they do dovetail, and a lot of times people don't necessarily see that how they all work, but they just work in symphony together to make this a more attractive place, to more investment, more opportunity for everyone.
And that investment is happening, and that's what's exciting. That the bigger and the more we grow, and I think with the road constructions, the DOT projects that are coming on board, that's going to be huge. And I know we approved to buy some property out. We got a grant to straighten out one of the roads out near the airport. That's going to open up some investment out in that area, and so all of that's happening, and it seems to be happening all over the city, which is an exciting piece.
There's a lot of exciting things happening in Hickory with the bond projects and everything. What's something that might not be necessarily bond related that you're excited about?
The 150th birthday or anniversary, whichever you want to call it.
Sesquicentennial, the sesquicentennial.
I'm so glad you can say that.
You're welcome.
Yes, that's coming up. That was actually January 3rd, and we celebrated at Council Chambers because it rained that day. It was supposed to be downtown, but instead we had it at Council Chambers and had cake, very well attended, and Mayor Guest announced some events coming up around that, and we're encouraging businesses to celebrate with us. Tie your business in an event to our 150th. It's an exciting time for Hickory.
So in lieu of our typical events section in the podcast, Jill, would you tell us and our listeners what the 150th anniversary events are going to happen this year? That'd be great.
Okay, so far we have June 4th is a Rock the Block party, and it's a birthday bash at the Salt Block, and that's going to be at 5:30 in the evening. Then on June 5th, Sales Original Music Series on Union Square at 6:30. And another event on then on the 6th, we have a City Walk Summer Celebration, and that's going to be determined later as far as time. And the same day, June 6th, Hickory 150th Night at the Crawdads with fireworks. So that's an exciting thing.
So make sure you stick around here for the first week of June.
The first week of June, everybody, I know people say that, and I think, oh my gosh, are you kidding? Do you not read the paper? Do you not know what's going on at the Salt Block, the music? There's so many things to do in Hickory. You absolutely cannot get them all done. The little theater, you've got the science museum. There's something happening in Hickory every single day, and to prove it, there's 2 in one day right here for the City of Hickory.
That's right.
It is a lot going on, and there will be more events coming and being announced later.
We're super excited about those, and we appreciate you very much for coming and sharing with us today, and we're looking forward to all the great things that are going to be happening to the City of Hickory in the next coming months or so.
Well, thank you very much. I've appreciated being on here and appreciated going to lunch.
That's
was
right.
great.
Absolutely.
And
we appreciate all you do for the city.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has been going on in your 14 years and 2 more to go at least. So we appreciate. Usually it's a thankless job, and we understand that, but we appreciate the work done by the city.
I enjoy it, and I've had lots of good support, and that means a lot to me.
Excellent. So today, McNally and myself and Jill, we went to the 1320 pub, and it's located on 16th Street right off of Springs Road.
That's right.
It was fantastic.
I'm sure it has another name for that.
I mean,
road
we're going to do the typical. What was it? What did it used to be?
If I'm not mistaken, well, the good thing about this, because you asked me where should we go,
right?
And I probably would have drawn a blank or where have we not been or something along those lines.
Typical.
Yes, but so this restaurant was highlighted in the Hickory Daily Record I think the beginning of this week, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
All the days have run together this early in the year for me. But so it's the old Piccolo's Pizza. It's right there if you go on Springs where, the Wells Fargo, Wendy's.
It's on a little side street that connects. That connects that 4-way road to Springs Road.
And swarps back around and hits 16th and 8th, thus 16th Street. So small little restaurant. I had no idea what to expect, but after I read the article, I was like, well, the menu might be a little bit better than I thought. They said they had a good crowd, so I said, let's go check it out. Now, you and I are not going to turn down bar-type food ever.
I mean, look at us.
So, that's the reason we don't do video podcasts for this episode. I don't think we'll have good viewership. But I was impressed when I pulled into the parking lot. You guys beat me there, so that took 2 spots. The parking lot was full. Yeah. So walked in. They did a really good job. I mean, it is a small building. They did a really nice job. I think they said in the newspaper article that it had been closed for 7 years prior to them coming in. So I can only imagine what 7 years of sitting around. Right. I mean, look at me. I know what 7 years of me sitting around is done. So I can only imagine what that does to a building. They did a really good job updating it, renovating it. It's still small and cozy, but it felt like there was still plenty of room for that packed parking lot to have seats.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sat down. I was impressed with the menu, like the breadth of the menu.
Yeah, it was extensive.
It was good.
Yeah, there was. It wasn't Rico old school style.
Well, yeah, it wasn't Cheesecake
pages.
Factory with a book,
right?
But I mean, it had appetizers, you had burgers, subs, and wraps.
Yeah, flatbread pizzas.
The non pizzas.
Yeah, non pizza,
which she talked about in the proprietor, and I apologize, don't remember her name, but talked about in the newspaper article. That was something that she used to make at home for the kids or whatnot. She wanted to bring it to, and it was a great idea because you actually got one. We'll get into that in a minute, but great individual size pizza. And of course, then you can be really unique with what is on it. Wings, I got some wings.
Of course.
And we didn't partake in this, but there was a full bar as well.
Right.
So I'll start. I got, because I'm a man of the people.
Yeah, you are. And the people appreciate it.
I hope so.
They really do.
All 6 of them. I hope they do. I do this for you folks.
Our listenership's larger than 6.
Okay.
Teen.
So I got the wings because why not? Can't be a connoisseur of wings unless you try them everywhere. So I got some just regular hot wings. And then I got, I wanted to be a little frisky. I got the bison burger.
Yeah.
We have bison and elk on the menu. So I felt like being a little frontiersman, and I got the bison burger. They were out of elk, but, elk goes quick, I guess.
Right. They probably don't want to keep a lot of it, being a new place.
It's brand new. I'd be very hesitant on how much to buy of certain things.
Yeah.
It was very good. And I had pub chips as my side for the. Pub chips were perfect, but I like my pub chips crunchy, and they were crunchy. Like sometimes people don't like them.
I like the floppy.
My wife does too. That's why.
You know what? Hams used to
that's what. And that's exactly what I think of when I think of pub chips. Is hams?
God, they're good.
You get the basket, and sometimes it's 50-50, and you can have the floppies.
Right. Okay.
The chips were good.
Y'all can share then, because they do. See,
you're the yin to my yang, or something like that. Whatever. The burger was good. It was smaller than I thought it was going to be. And not only because bison are large animals. I just thought it was going to be a bigger patty. But I can get over that. It was a little well done, but that is not because they were busy. And I think it's the first couple of weeks of being open. Whether you have a soft opening or not, you could tell they were working through the kinks of how busy are they going to be. What are people ordering to know what to have? It's just that flow they've got. I can imagine going back in 5 weeks. The taste of the burger was great, and I imagine it'll be cooked perfectly next time. The wings were awesome. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed my whole meal completely, and that's still with them working. They apologized for the time and the wait. I didn't think it was that bad.
We were in and out an hour.
It was still right. If you had your lunch hour, you're still doing fine, and they were apologizing for that. They'll get around into form and speed that up. But I was thoroughly pleased. And I think you and I even said it was one of our favorite spots we've visited in the 2.5 years we've been doing this.
Yeah, we've been doing this thing for a while, and I think we're right around the 50 episode mark or so, and we've been to a lot of places. We've actually shut down a few places. Just one. Well, two have closed, but for a new spot, they knocked it out.
Yeah,
I mean, for sure. Staffing. I mean, who knew? They don't know if they're going to have a line out the door on a Friday. Like that's beyond them. They have no idea. And I actually we saw it looked like they called somebody in because they had staff coming in to help. So at least they knew what was going on, and they're going to make strides to fix that. Yes. I highly recommend this place. I thought the food was phenomenal.
What'd you get?
It's the best bar food. I had the Greek Caesar chicken naan pizza. And
when you said that, and I was reading the ingredients of the naan make them say,
naan. Yes.
Oh man, I love being a child of the 90s.
I know, right?
But I read the ingredients of yours, and I was like, romaine lettuce on the pizza. This is going to be interesting. So I let you brave it.
I did too. And Jill mentioned the fact that she thought it might be wilted, and it kind of was. But man, it was good. It added to it didn't because the lettuce was just a little bit on the soggy side. It didn't mess with the flavor.
It's not like it was loaded up with the lettuce to where
it was just sprinkled. It was just sprinkled. It was great. And I had one of your wings. Thought it was fantastic. I thought the flavor was really good. I'd definitely go back. Jill, tell us what you had.
I had the Blue Burger, and it was awesome. And the pub chips were, as you say, I like crispy, and they were definitely
Team Crispy.
Team Crispy. Well, here we go, and it was very, very good. I would certainly.
And you said
back.
You're kind of a connoisseur of the black and the
that's
blue
what
cheeseburger
I love,
sort of thing.
Black and blue burgers. That's
so
one
for
of my
you to
favorites.
say that, that's a good sign for the 1320 pub.
Yes.
Yeah, 1320 pub.
Their water was excellent.
Yeah, the water was good.
No, I really enjoyed it. Out of a normal person scale of 0 to 10, I'm going to easily give this one an 8.5.
There you go.
And that's not even me. Part of me wants to give it a little bit of a curve just while they're getting their kinks out. I mean, that is a straight up. I know it's going to get better over, not much time. I mean, they really have it honed in right now. And when I read the article, I think the proprietor, her grandmother had some sort of restaurant that would serve to local folks down in South Carolina. I mean, so there's some genetic makeup in having this done right, being done this quickly. She's managed some other places and other communities. Well, I'm glad she's here, and it's a good thing for Northeast Hickory too. That's something that we talked a little bit about while we were there. Is that Springs Road area, Northeast? I hope people will actually go seek this out and not just have it be the spot that they drive by and then think of, because it's worth seeking out from other areas of the city.
I don't want to pigeonhole that area, but there's not really a lot of the mom and pop restaurant type. There's a lot of larger chain restaurants and things like that out that way, and it's good to see that they have that small option now, and it's I thought it was fantastic. On the scale you're supposed to use here, I'll give it a solid 6.3 out of 7, and that's right. Do the math for them. And definitely go again. And 90, yeah, it's high.
Did you break the calculator out before?
I did not. That's a higher score that we give on the show, and especially to a new establishment. I think they're going to get it figured out. And the bar looked like it was fully stocked. I think on the article it said they had craft beers on tap. They have TVs everywhere. It's so you can go out there and enjoy a ball game if you want to, or there's a lot of other options except the
ambiance. It definitely helped it score high too. They didn't just go into the building, put some paint up, and
we've been to a few of those.
We've been to a couple.
Yeah.
That still had good food.
Yeah, it was still good.
But this had the whole feel.
Yeah, for sure. Jill, do you want to rate 1320 pub? Oh. You want to give it a 1320?
I would give them, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would definitely give them a 9. I thought it was good. I'd go back. I'd recommend it. And I will get the pizza next time.
There you go.
Thank you for my bite of pizza. It was delicious.
You're welcome.
Well, they had cool varieties on there, too. I mean, he got the Caesar one, which is unusual. But It was good.
No,
they had all sorts of different options.
It was so
for that.
different. That's why I saw. I was like, grilled
and chicken's your thing.
Yeah, chicken is my thing. Just seeing that, I was like, I'm gonna give that a whirl because with my I'm dietary restricted, so I don't get down on the meat a lot. But so I look up for a lot of the creative chicken dishes around, and that's fantastic. Again, you can visit the 1320 Pub in Hickory, North Carolina, and it's right off Springs Road on 16th Street. You should go check it out. It's the old Piccolo's building.
Jill, thank you for using a 1 to 10 scale. Like normal people.
That's us. We're the crispy chip people.
Yes.
There it is. Crispy chips and a 10-point scale. You guys can just...
Normal people. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How about that? But we appreciate everyone listening to the Street Circle Drive podcast here on The Mesh. Again, if you're interested in sponsoring our show, please go to themesh.tv/advertise or send us an email to info@themesh.tv for more information. So, McNally, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year. I'm glad I got another year to look at your mug.
You're welcome. Hey, quick question. Mm-hmm. When is it appropriate to stop saying Happy New Year? Have we already passed that threshold?
I guess I assume for the first couple of weeks, especially when you see someone for the first time in the year.
Yeah.
That's probably
Are you ripping off Happy New Year in February?
No, I wouldn't be.
Right.
You blow kisses and wish Happy Valentine's Day, maybe. You got to move to the next thing.
That's right.
But yeah, we're getting close to the time. Let's put it that way.
Right on.
So don't ever say that to me again.
All right, you got it.
Awesome.
All right, you're my friend. Best friends. All right, guys, thank you again for listening. Mary Margaret, we miss you. And Happy New Year to everyone. And we will see you next time on Street Circle Drive here on The Mesh.
Love where you live.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.